Peace. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about Black Disunity. And Black Disunity, as we may know it and we may see it, in our communities today, it may have started part of it on the plantation, with the master giving certain positions to certain people and allowing certain people to have certain privileges adverse to like other people, like people in the field from the people in the house. But I also want to highlight that after slavery, when people, after a while after slavery and black people were starting to get their things together, they was prospering and they had middle class suburbs and they was getting degrees and they was getting their education and they was getting businesses. They were starting to progress. And I want to highlight how every time the black people as a movement, as a community started to progress in this country, the white man always came to disrupt that, because Negro unity is definitely a problem in this country, especially for the white people. So I want to highlight how we were actually accomplishing things after slavery. We was actually together, united. So what happened? I'll tell you what happened. This was a problem for white people, and they started to come up with ways to disrupt and infiltrate our communities. And there's numerous information about this from ex-FBI and CIA agents that will tell you this, that they place people in our communities, or they started to use some of our people that was getting locked up and send them back into our communities to infiltrate the Black Panther Party, to infiltrate the NOI, to infiltrate anything, any type of form of black organizing that was going on in our communities. They sent people to infiltrate it. And some of our people are at fault for this because they sold their people out, and they went back into our communities and betrayed our people. But at the same time, like, I'm not gonna put all the blame on them, because this white man that we are dealing with is very strategic and very brutal. So these people came back into our communities, and because of this, the distrust amongst our community, grew. And now we have the remnants of that same distrust in our communities. This is why it's so easy for me to see a black person and feel distrustful of him. Sometimes I catch myself, like, sometimes we are quicker to smile at a white person than a black person. I mean, I know better now, but it's so easy. It was so easy for me to see a black person and automatically see like somebody that could be an adversary, or that could be an enemy towards me, and I didn't understand where it was coming from. But the more I read and the more I educate myself and the more I see how, we've been kind of like subjected to certain behaviors, certain actions that we didn't know were caused by external factors. When you don't know who your real enemy is, you're gonna always look at the people around you as your enemy. When you in your neighborhood fighting over the scraps, or fighting over like whatever is left, or the little bit of money that is around in your neighborhood, you can't really see when you living in war, in a war-torn neighborhood, gunshots, bullet wounds, people getting hurt, violent acts. It's hard for you to see who is the real puppet master. It's hard for you to see who's really pulling the strings. So I'm making this video to let us know that, like, the brother that you see in the neighborhood that is trying to do the same thing you're trying to do, he's not the enemy. The enemy is the person that placed you in the ghetto. The enemy is the person that created the ghetto in the first place. The enemy is the one who created your poor school district. The enemy is the one that created this policing system and sent them into your neighborhood and told them that you are a threat. That told them that you deserve to get gunned down. That told them that you're less than human, still less than human. This is the enemy. The enemy is the one that, when you try to seek proper health care, gives you the lowest kind that they can find for you. These people are the enemy. And I ain't gotta put no color to it. We know who owns the school districts. We know who own the pharmaceutical companies. We know who own a lot of it. We know who own the media. We know who own like these businesses in our community, or who allows or who facilitates for people to have businesses in our communities. We know these things. And the quicker we can find out who our enemy is, the quicker we can stop looking at each other as enemies. And maybe we will stop killing each other, because we have misplaced anger and we don't really know who the real enemy is. think as black people, we have to realize that when we build something, when we build communities, when we build neighborhoods, when we build businesses, we have to be able to protect it. Because the white people gonna come for it. Bottom line is, they view us as a threat. They have their police out here killing us, shooting us, unarmed. Nothing happens. They don't get convicted. They don't go to jail. So we have to keep that in consideration, that when we build something, we have to also be able to maintain it. As much as we don't want to realize that, they have always worked to disarm us. Like, these people are always, the Second Amendment only works for everybody. It works for everybody except for the black people. Like, when we had the Black Panther Party doing armed patrols, the shootings actually went down. There wasn't a lot of shootings. There wasn't a lot of unarmed black men getting shot by the police. The numbers actually went down drastically. But what did they do? They demonized the Panthers. They start shooting them, killing them, sending them to jail, exiling them out of the country. Because they want us to be defenseless. They want us to remain defenseless so that we can't protect ourselves. So we need to be mindful of that anytime we think about building something for ourselves. So, like my video, subscribe to the channel. I'm just trying to get my message out there, and I want it to be circulated. And in order for it to circulate, you have to like the videos. So please help me. Thank you for watching. Peace.